Thank you. I warmly welcome you all here in Hungary at the Hungarian Academy of Justice. I have to admit that giving a presentation after those speeches before is quite a challenge, but I will try my best. I've already been introduced, and you already know that I'm an assistant judge at the National Office for the Judiciary. But what you may not know is that I'm personally strongly committed to clarity. It may have something to do with the fact that in elementary school I wanted to be a linguist. And although I didn't stick to this plan, I became a lawyer who, in my opinion, also has the responsibility of using the language wisely and reasonably. Now you can imagine how honored and grateful I was when about a month ago I got the chance to take part at the roundtable discussion organized by the Hungarian Language Strategy Institution in the framework of reaching and ensuring clarity in public administration and in the framework of preparing the new Hungarian language strategy. Amongst the participants of this roundtable discussion were the representatives of the government, the National University of Public Service, and of course the National Office for the Judiciary. However, the NOJ was not a regular participant, but as we proudly emphasize it, we has been set as a good model, a role model to follow. But how did we reach that? How did our operation become the best practice in the field of clarity in judicial administration? That's what we intend to show you. But firstly, in order for those of you who are not Hungarians, I would like to introduce you briefly the administration system of the Hungarian judicial system, since it's quite unique in Europe. Since 2012, the professional supervision of judgments and the tasks of the central administration of courts are divided into two groups. Since the Supreme Court, here in Hungary called the Curia, shall ensure the unification of the jurisprudence, and the tasks of the central administration of courts are performed by the President of the National Office for the Judiciary, supported by the Deputy and the Office, and her work in the central administration is supervised by the National Judicial Council. The central administration of courts includes tasks in general, like initiating legislation or making normative orders, includes tasks in the field of the court administration itself, and other tasks like financial management, human resources, or the trainings of judges and judicial employees. Now, as she already mentioned in her opening speech before, the President, in her overall responsibility for central administration, have determined 6 long-term strategic goals, and one of them, as you can see on the screen, is the easier access to courts, since ensuring transparency and providing plain information on courts are essential to reach a trusted, customer-friendly court system. However, we must admit that reaching this goal is not as easy as it may sound. Like, we can say that the job of a lumberjack is simple, but we can certainly not say that it's easy. We can also say that ensuring clarity takes really simple tools or simple modifications, but it's certainly not an easy job to do. However, Michelangelo was said during the creation of David that in every block of marble I see a statue. I have only to hew away the rough walls that imprison the lovely apparition to reveal it. However, in spite of that, I don't really believe that making that masterpiece was that easy job to do. So our job, and especially our first steps, were not easy nor simple, but we've reached many great results. We've done many hard work in the field of clarity in judicial administration, and that's what we like to share with you. We can say that everything started with the renewal of the call for application of trainee judges central examination that you can see on screen. Is the NOJ's scope of authority to, so it's our scope of authority to coordinate and organize the recruitment procedure of trainee judges. And for many years we had a problem with the certificate of clean criminal records, since if you attach the wrong version of the certificate to your application letter, the application will be invalid and must be rejected. And many applicants fail to attach the right version of the certificate. And we realized that it may have something to do with the way we inform them on the conditions. And that was the main reason why we modified the whole call for application by the rules of clarity. And as you can see on the screen, instead of long, complicated sentences filled with legal jargons, we just attached a picture of the right certificate of clean criminal records. And the results were outstanding, really, since after this renewal, the number of the invalid applications have decreased by 80%. Moreover, this year, there have not been any invalid application at all. So I believe that's really a result we can be proud of. However, during our job, we really agreed on Charles Mingus's words that making the simple complicated is commonplace, but making the complicated simple, awesomely simple, that's creativity. Organizing the recruitment procedure of training judges is a noble task, and I've already mentioned that not only the recruitment, but the training of these trainee judges and other judicial employees and judges are also managed by the National Office for the Judiciary. And at this point, I would like to emphasize the trainings of the so-called new generation. They are the beginner judges, the assistant judges, and the trainee judges. Since they receive a really complex mandatory training in various fields of law. For example, assistant judges, who are really in the door of getting appointed as judges later, receive a 5-day-long soft skill training, which contains, for example, practicing communication, clear communication, or stimulating daily situations in order to learn how to handle stress. And they also practice how to speak in front of in public, clearly and confidently. And they also do mock trials, which are led and held by a psychologist and an experienced judge. And in this way, they can get a professional feedback on their daily job and on their way of communication. And it's important to know that these trainings are essential not for only their daily jobs, but the court secretaries of the press secretaries of courts are often chosen from these assistant judges who receive these trainings and already have the knowledge and experience they need for this job. We also have to point out that not only the new generation, but the more experienced judicial employees and judges also receives trainings in connection with clarity. For example, this year in 2017, almost 3,000 of them received a 1-day-long mandatory training organized by local courts and managed by the Hungarian Academy of Justice, with the title of Clarity and Professionalism in the Application of Law in Courts. The main goals of this training was to strengthen clarity in court and reach the understandable and comprehensible communication in oral and written parts of it. The call for application of our scientific program also shows how important clarity is for us, especially this year. This program, named after Count György Majlát, supports the scientific courts of judges, judicial employees, and also law students, and awards the best paper works in various fields of law. And this year, many topics were related to clarity, like clarity in court orders or clarity in press communication of court. And the motto, as you can see on the screen, were comprehensible and accessible, the role of clarity in the application of law. Now, I've already talked about 10 minutes, and we barely scratched the surface of our hard work and results in this field. And now I would like to give the floor to Ms. Natasha Fülöp, who is a real expert of judicial administration, and she will give you more information of our results in this field. Thank you.